Thanks, John. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Just 4 days to go here at the Crucible. Just one table, which means it's semi-final time. Both guys backstage in uncharted territory. Excited? You should be. Without any further ado, let's get the boys on the base! Please welcome, first of all, the former European Open finalist, enjoying his best ever run at the Crucible, showing nerves of steel against Maguire in the quarter-final. Here comes the gentleman, Joe Perry! And now, the man of the moment, with a sensational 147 on Tuesday, bidding for his first Crucible final. He really is flying this week, because he's the captain, Ali Carter!
We'll review the opening frames of the Ronnie O'Sullivan-Stephen Hendry semi-final later in the programme. But in the Crucible commentary box for the first test of this Ali Carter-Joe Perry World Championship semi-final, it's Willie Thorne and John Virgo.
Thank you, Ray. Good evening, everybody. And what a enthralling encounter this could be. We've got two young men, first time here at the Crucible Theatre, at the one-table stage. And when it's down to the one-table stage, in my opinion, Willie, the best venue we have.
Yes, undoubtedly. I never had the pleasure of playing here on a one-table situation, but this arena now looks like it's made especially for snooker. 960-odd people in this evening, watching these two young men playing in their first ever World Championship final. Big test for them both.
Yes, and if that doesn't give you a little bit of nerves, nothing will. Packed to the rafters. And just what you'd be looking for. A good start, a terrific opening red from Ali. Could have done with bouncing a little bit more off the top cushion, but that would give you a feel-good factor.
Maybe worth the risk as it's first frame, taking the cut on. The safety shot, not going to get too much out of it because it's been an easy return. If the black does go in and he does get a nice cannon, could reap the reward. He'd like to kiss the outside red of the bunch here to stay on the one just below it. He's kissed it. Unlucky.
Ali Carter won.
And let's not forget that these two young men, of course, they've been on the two-table situation. It may take them half a frame to get used to the speed. Every table plays slightly different. So both players now look like they're going to pot an opening red at their first opportunity.
One.
Can Joe Perry score a few more? Could decide to go into them here if he wants to. There's a big target to go into. I wouldn't blame him if he did. But Joe's not one of those kind of players. He tends to like to play for the loose ones. Well, he has done, and that's what I like to see players play like that. Give yourself a chance to win at one visit.
And it's worked out quite nicely. He's got a red to the right corner. Wouldn't have to do a lot with the cue ball, but took that opportunity and couldn't have hit them better and hoped for a better result.
No.
Start of this season, Joe Perry was world ranked 18, provisionally 14, but that, of course, depending on how well he does here, will be moving up a little bit. And his opponent, Ali Carter, world ranking 14, provisional 11, so there's not much to choose between them on paper. Let's hope they both play well and give us a match to remember.
17.
Yes, and because Joe Perry played so well yesterday evening in his match, he looked
24.
certainly more relaxed than you'd expect a player to look.
25.
Looks very relaxed, Joe. Didn't win many frames, John, yesterday. I had the pleasure of doing all the last 19 frames of that match against Maguire. What Joe Perry is blessed with, John, whether you agree, I'm not sure, you'll tell me in a second, he is a very good match player. I tend to think sometimes break building, as he did earlier on there, he needs to go into them quicker, and you can see what happens when you go into them quick, gives you a chance. If it's
32.
an open game, you'd fancy Ali Carter maybe, but if it's a tight game, I fancy Joe Perry. I think it's hard to call.
Yeah, well, this is a match, and a lot's been forgotten about with all the talk of potting and break building, but you still need a good all-round game, and that's what you're inferring. That's what makes a good match player. Maybe errs on the side
33.
of caution. Well, that's gone a little bit awkward. Played for the blue, and but for it rolling an extra inch, would have been on it nicely. He'll now have to play the yellow. Right in the heart of the pocket. Both these players are going to bring good memories into this match. Joe Perry, of course, he's really kept himself together against Stephen Maguire. And of course, Ali Carter.
36.
What a dream it is for any player to make a maximum at the Crucible. So they've done themselves proud.
Just slightly lost position here. I don't know whether he can play the gap through the reds, or he might play a little cannon here to hold the cue ball. Different players see this kind of shot differently. Yeah, he's played a little cannon, and all he's doing now is just slowing the cue ball down, and he played it really well. He's unlucky not to be anything easier than this.
41.
Good pot. The cue ball is going to stop on a baulk colour. Needs a good positional shot now to give him an opportunity to win the frame at this visit.
Yeah, this was his problem yesterday. He went on to win the match, Joe Perry, but I don't know whether you noticed, John, he lost 7 games from over 40 in front yesterday against Maguire. So the scoreline could have, you know, he could have won the match quite easily. I know that Maguire didn't play anything like he did earlier on in the week, but Joe kept getting 40 in front and just couldn't close the frame out early enough. Is this going to be another one of those?
46.
Well, he's not played the best positional shot. Okay, the red next to the pink. He can play into the left middle. Played the brown, just a straightforward screw off the side cushion. Just under hit it. Recover the situation well. That was a good pot and good control of the cue ball.
When players get to the semi-final of the Crucible, you'd expect a shaky start. We thought that this afternoon. Hendry made 140 first visit.
54.
This is Joe Perry's first visit ever in a semi-final at the Crucible. And he's got a chance to make a... Just as I'm going to say, got a chance to win the frame.
Joe Perry, 54.
As he did yesterday, John. He keeps missing the vital ball.
Well, you called it, Willie. I didn't think you were going to be right, but... I mean, he pots that red, he's perfect on the blue. They look no problems. a let-off for Ali Carter. This would hurt Joe even at this early stage if Ali could win the frame from here.
I didn't expect Ali Carter to miss that. And we know that Joe's 53 in front, and as John mentioned, red colour red's enough, but these are not the kind of reds you'd like to play every day of the week. These are a lot easier when you're kind of playing them as the first ball. When you're trying to protect a lead, these make them a little bit more tricky. It's amazing, isn't it? If that was the first shot in a break, we'd put that 9 out of 10, wouldn't he?
Well, the way he's played it, he's played to stun it in, which might have been the right shot, but he's thinking if it doesn't go in, I'll cover it with the black. And it was just that slightly negative thought. But he's not left anything easy. Well, the fact that he's going out the extended rest, is he? Surely he's not going to play the cut on this red. Oh, that was a dangerous shot to play for me. Does the yellow come to his rescue? There's the red to the right corner, but he'll be pleased he's covered that one. That one was unmissable. The one to the right corner, it's a tough shot, and of course the black won't go into the opposite corner, so a bit of work to do with the cue ball.
The shot of the frame so far. That's a frame winner, because with the red being over the corner, that was a pressure pot. So Joe Perry, in his first ever semi-final at the Crucible, looks certain to win the opening frame.
6. 7.
Well, he started off with a tremendous red, did Ali Carter, but he's not going to get anything out of this frame. 67 points to the lead now. Just 59 remaining.
14.
And in this situation, Joe Perry will be aware that if he could clear the table here, he just keeps Ali Carter off the table. Because if he was to miss now, Ali Carter would carry on because it's a first frame and just to get some potting practice.
15.
So as a player, you're thinking now, if I can clear these, I've kept my opponent off the table.
Yeah, it's a good point that, isn't it? Because it's the first time that Ali Carter's
20.
played on a single table, and it's totally different out there. The arena, you know, you're playing in something virtually 3 or 4 times as big as you were when you first played. And Joe, as John mentioned, would be all too aware that he wants to give Ali no table time at all.
28.
I think the first thing you notice is when you're in the
39.
two-table situation, you're right on top of the table. You can sort of see every move that's being made by your opponent. But you sat a little bit further away, and sometimes you just have a completely different view of the table that you had when it was
36.
the two-table situation.
$37.
That's the sort of view that you're getting, and you don't really see what balls will go and if there's any plants on, which, as I say, when you sat closer
42.
you feel more involved. It just takes a little bit of getting used to. The best way to get used to it, of
44.
course, is when you're at the table potting balls. And Joe Perry's doing plenty of that.
$47. 51. $56. 62 on the frame.
Well, not bothered about the black. Finished off with a 62, started with a 54. He'll be pleased with that. He takes the first frame. Joe Perry leads 1-0.
Good evening, John Parrott and Dennis Taylor. It was fascinating listening to you talk before about it's a different setup now. Does it make a big difference to the players?
Absolutely, but Joe is settled immediately. Ali looks a little bit edgy, doesn't he? But what a start for Joe Perry. I think it's the fact, John, you know, he won his match on the deciding frame. That helps you to relax for your next match, doesn't it? Really?
Oh, it's a fantastic feeling just to get over the line there. So, you know, anything else you consider a bonus, don't you?
Yeah, you have a longer to walk to the table. I know it's only a few metres, but are you telling me it really makes a difference with this change of setup?
It's a massive change to the venue. I mean, you've been sitting next to somebody for the first 3 matches, and okay, you mightn't be there chatting all the time, but there's some interaction between the two players, and of course you can't go back and mutter under your breath because they're going to hear you. So now all of a sudden you go back and you're on your own, and your opponent's way across the other side of the venue, so it's completely different. It's
the World Championship, but the form book sometimes doesn't get it quite right, does it?
No, well, this is actually the 4th consecutive year that somebody out of the top 16 has actually reached the semi-final stages here. I mean, we've got Sean Murphy, Marco Fu, Mark Selby, and now we've got Joe Perry, so it just shows the strength and depth we've got in our game.
Second frame.
It just shows, Dennis, that when you get the opportunity, you've earned the opportunity, take it.
That's what it's all about. You got to take it. I mean, you don't know how many times you're going to be here, so when you get here, you want to win.
Yes, I agree with the boys that Ali Carter did look a little bit shaky, but Joe Perry appears to have settled immediately.
Pretty good break-off shot. Found the baulk cushion. As you can see, the green's covering any path back to baulk. There's the red down the right-hand side of the table. He can just get past the brown. I suppose he could play the pot, and if it doesn't go in, he'll bring the cue ball to the top cushion and reasonably safe. The only red he could leave, he'll be feeling, is the one he's playing. Well, he nearly got the double kiss.
John and I are both big fans of football, and we've got 3 great footballers in tonight, and I'm sure sometime during the evening we'll show them. And there's Mark Crosley, who's been a great goalkeeper for Nottingham Forest, and funny enough, Matt Letizia, one of the best penalty takers of all time, and he ever missed 1 penalty in his career. He was the goalkeeper, Mark Crosley. We had a couple of lads in earlier on, Mel Sterling and Imri Varadi, Sheffield Wednesday. They're around somewhere. We'll pick them up a little bit later. 1. Well, a lot of celebs here over the years, and it is a great place to come and watch snooker. As we see the double disappear, and you'll be a little bit disappointed he overskewed the cue ball, so the black's not on.
Ali Carter 1.
Yes, the 2 guys you just mentioned. The problem is sometimes you invite them down, you put them in the press box, and you're so close to the players, you're frightened to breathe, you know. I was talking to David Lynn, the European Tour golfer, and he said exactly the same. So they probably put them in the press box and decided to watch it from the players' lounge rather than sit there and feel as though they're unable to make a move.
Just brushed by the pack, which normally you'd be worried about, but there's nothing potable. Ali may take this red on and play for the blue, the one in baulk. If there's no double on or cut into the middle, he can play the red next to the yellow as a shot to nothing. He can spin it round 3 cushions, but it looks like he's found a pot. Or not. I'm surprised he's not even looked at the one next to the yellow. That surprises me, this shot.
Well, he's got the snooker, and just basically coming off the right-hand side cushion, which looks the obvious way, he would leave something. So he's now coming off the bottom cushion, side cushion, and into the cluster.
Yeah, that's the reason, John, that I thought Ali was worth taking the risk on the shot to nothing. Well, there's two players playing for the first time in a semi-final of the world, and straight in front of them that have been looking at the trophy for the first time, and that's out there for both of them to look at now. Obviously won last year by John Higgins, and there it is. That's what we've all dreamed about. Not many have had their hand on it. The two players in the other semi-final have had it on 7 occasions. There's Stephen Hendry, 7 times champion. Ken Doherty, John Higgins, Stephen Hendry again. Will one of these two players at the table, John, get their name on that trophy?
Well, if you're in it, you can win it, and they're still in it. This frame just taking a bit of a tactical turn. No safety back in the balk end. So just playing back to this top cushion. The only thing is with this shot, you've got to get it tight, the cue ball. Because if you leave your opponent so he can get his cue down below the centre of the cue ball, obviously he can has an easy task of trying to get the cue ball back. And obviously if you could, you'd like to nestle up behind the blue.
This is not easy to get safe now, with the cue ball being near the cushion. You have to really get really high up with his cue to try and screw back to the cushion. This is what he's trying to do. He's using the other red as a stopper. He'd like to bring the cue ball back in between black and blue, and that's a very, very good shot.
Yes, that's as good a shot as you could have played in that situation. A little tap on the table there from Joe Perry. He realised how difficult that was. But he didn't get the cue ball tight on the top cushion, so he's got a chance to bring it back. Now you can see the way these reds are spreading out all over the table, that the next chance could be a costly one. And as you see, he's striking down. The white's automatically going to bounce, so to judge it that well after hitting the red to screw back to the top cushion, excellent shot. I used to hate these frames, you know, really, didn't you? It was just one of those that you can keep playing safe, and all of a sudden you force your opponent into playing some pot in the middle pocket. Hello, middle pocket. I think it'll be Joe Perry with the first chance. He might not be able to get through to it direct, but he should be able to play one onto the other.
It's one of those, John, if he has to play one onto the other, he's going to have to hit the red on the pocket half ball. There's a slight possibility. Here we are on Hawkeye. He could probably swerve and hit it. I don't think he can see it direct.
Well, Hawkeye says he can, and I've not known Hawkeye be wrong.
Good old Hawkeye here.
One.
Well, he didn't make the best job of it. The reason I say that cue ball shouldn't have been as close to the cushion as this. Brown looks the obvious ball to play, but it's tricky, as is yellow.
Yes, amazingly enough, he hit too much of the red. If he'd have hit the red as thin as he perhaps thought he would do, that cue ball wouldn't have hit the jaws of the corner pocket, and the white would have been open play. So this is really tough. This is, well, 60-40 potting this. And it was the 60. Very, very good pot. Very good pot. They're horrible.
5. Six.
Just having to use his extension here, and I'm still uncomfortable. The 3 reds along the back. Doesn't want to make a contact on the middle one, purely because it's not bound to leave the reds easy. If you can just run through on and off the cushion without touching the reds, that's what he'd like to do. He was always taking a chance what was going to happen, but it was a better way to play position.
He struggled in though, didn't it? It didn't go right in the middle of the pocket.
8.
Mainly because I feel he was overstretching.
9.
It's going to be difficult to win this on yellows and browns. He needs to think about coming up this end and playing for the black. That'll soon start rattling the points up.
11.
Yeah, we've had the maximums. I mean, okay, he's taking the brown. The minimum break. 15 reds, 15 yellows, and all the colours.
12.
The yellow's certainly, excuse me, the easier way to get onto the top reds at this end, but he's going to get rid of the one remaining loose red, I think, in the balk area before he starts to come up with business. And no, he's okay now. He'd love to get onto the black now, and then he can start thinking about winning the frame at one visit with some high-valued colours. I don't know whether the pink pot's in the left-hand corner. It doesn't appear to from here. No, he's just got to be careful now, because these reds, the next 4 reds and 4 pinks and blacks should be straightforward, which would put him best part of 50 in front again. The pink not available, so once he gets rid of the reds either side of the pink, it will be.
Yeah, but at least he's accumulating
24.
points a bit quicker now, isn't he? Bringing the black into play. I said that whoever made the first mistake could be costly, and it's certainly looking that way.
25.
Just the start that Joe Perry was looking for.
$32. 33. 40. 41.
needs that to travel a little bit to make sure he's on it into the corner. The pink and red, I'm not too
48.
sure whether either will pot. There must be a place where he can pot the red. Yes, I think the red will go, so he can play the half ball black and then get the cue ball on the same side as he is now, but a little bit higher up for that red. Oh, he's done it again, John.
Joe Perry,
He did
48.
it so many times yesterday. It's frightening.
Yeah, a little bit of movement there, I thought. Just jabbed at that somewhat. But hangs his head in shame. No way he should have been missing that one. Well, Ali Carter looking at this red on the left-hand side of the table to the left corner. It's one of those when you're 47 points behind. If he takes it on, he's got to get it. If he doesn't get this, for me, he loses a frame. One. But he did get it. Brave shot. Well played.
Ali Carter had a sniff in the first frame to pinch it. Obviously missed this first colour he got.
5.
But this is another, well, half a chance, isn't it? Green and blue. Red on the side cushion.
Six.
Yes, in the first frame when Joe Perry was in first, made a break of 54. Missed what looked, or was nearly frame ball. Ali didn't take advantage and then he cleared it with 62. So you forget about the mistake. But believe me, you don't forget about it if it costs you the frame. And that's what Ali will be trying to do here now, really punish him for that mistake. It's an easy red he missed.
Clever little shot that, just using the red to slow the cue ball down and push it towards the corner. Where the red is near the middle pocket on the cushion, you'd like to get rid of the red below the pink, because the pink's the easier ball to move that red into play. It's not easy from the black, so ideally you would like to get onto a baulk colour next to try and get on that red next to the pink if you can,
11.
because it gives him a lot more room to get that cannon from pink or black. He's having a look at the red and he's just trying to work out how high. There he is, you see, just trying to look how high he needs to come up. I'd rather play the cannon off the pink, John, wouldn't you, if you could, for that red tight on the cushion?
Well, I think he's got to be on it perfect. Has he run too far? Can he get to the potting angle on the red? Referee will be having a close look at this one.
Well, he's playing the run through, which means he's going to have the half ball black to try and get into the red, but the blue's in the way for me, so I don't know how he's going to get to that red now.
16.
I don't know whether he can create an angle from the black where the blue is. Yeah, it was all fair. Referee Aaron Williams keeping his beady eye on the situation there.
Well, if you can't get the cannon, it's a real power run through to try and get to the red near the baulk cushion. Well, maybe he had a thought of a double in mind, but the double's not on now. So he'd just be playing
23.
off the red, you would have thought, trying to get the cue ball behind the black and the red safe on the baulk cushion. Well, he's not made a good job of that.
Ali Carter, 23.
As it happened, he's had a little bit of a result. He's left the red near the left corner straight. If it had been a half-ball pot, he'd have almost handed the frame to Joe Perry. Don't know what he was thinking about there. Now normally, just looking at what Hawkeye is saying, if that red was right over the pocket, you could play cushion first and play the pot, but Joe Perry's not even considering it.
This will just be a container, white near the baulk line, red hopefully safe. He's got the white near the baulk line, but is the red gone safe? Not really.
It needs to stop. Well, he can pot the brown. Whether he can get position on the last red, it's a tough one because he's very close to the brown. Can he get enough top spin? Or will he just make certain the brown and then play safety? Well, I think he got down there thinking about the snooker. But why not pot the brown? Well, decided to play the deep screw and played it well, but this red is tricky. The further away you are from it, the more difficult it is.
Yes, where the red is now, I don't know whether you'll think of playing for the green off this red, and that would make a little bit easier to get onto the yellow, because green's going to be tough to get onto. You'll be playing this at pace to make sure the red clears the pocket. Needs a bit of help, and he's got a bit of help. He's had a result there.
Ali Carter, 5.
Yeah, it's always looked to me, the further away you were from this red, because as you suggested, Willie, to get position on the colour you had to play it with that extra bit of pace, and that made the pot eminently missable.
At first glance, this safety is not absolutely straightforward, because he doesn't want the red to cannon into the green, and obviously he'd like to leave the white on the baulk cushion, but he's got to miss the green with the red. Well, it's just, I mean, if that red had kissed the green full ball, he'd have been in trouble there. Joe misjudged it, but it's his turn to get away with it slightly. But the fact that he was some 19 points in front, I'd have not been at all wanting to bring the green into play.
Well, it just flicked past the brown. If it had caught the brown full, then this red would have been possible. This frame could hinge on this red. This looked pretty good. Got a good line there of the green and the pink, and the flick off the black has helped. This is a tough snooker. This is a tough one. Normally you'd think about, well, you'd come off the top cushion where the blue is, but you can't do that here. He's playing the swerve. Oh, just missed the pink. It was a good shot. Where's the red going? Where's the red going? Now, I'm trying to see from how his body language whether he's covered this red. He has. Joe Perry can't pot it.
Just enough room to get in behind the back of the red. He's got to be careful though. The white could go in off here, so he's playing him off the cushion to hit the red from behind. Now just be careful with the white here. Oh, the in-off was always going to be close. Joe is big favourite here purely because of the proximity of the blue and the black to the cushion. Ali Carter has a chance to bring one or maybe both into play here. He'd love to be able to flick off the black and bring the blue into play as well, but he'd be just happy to get one of them in play. This was an excellent swerve. How it missed the pink, I don't know. Played it really well. This is a key shot. And he's got neither of them safe. He played the cannon into the black, missed it, but he's got a good cue ball.
He's got the most important ball save, Willie. The red. There may just be an edge sticking out here, but only an edge. A coat of paint. That was a good hit. Nothing wrong with his eyesight.
Exactly. Yeah. And the fact that he knew if he caught it just right, he was pushing on the cushion. That was an excellent safety shot. As I said, with the blue and black being saved, Joe Perry, big favourite for this frame. Bit of value in playing the cross double here, because he'll be on the yellow if it goes in. The red will come near the black if it doesn't. Yeah, that's good. Like that shot.
Yes, and likely as not, he'll be a snooker. Another swerve, this time in between the green and the pink. Just missed it on the way up, but caught it on the way back.
Came very close to the black here when playing the swerve, and it just swerved and then just flicked the red and the black virtually at the same time. Would have been a foul shot if it had been at the same time, but obviously red first.
Oh, that was a poor shot, and if he's not left his red, he's been very fortunate. That was a poor safety, that, from Ali.
Yes, any sort of colour, yellow and green would be enough, so doesn't have to do too much with the cue ball here. Bit of light to it on the pink in the middle, but the black's our second choice.
He couldn't have finished much better on the black.
The black puts him 27 in front. The yellow to leave Ali Carter already in a little bit of trouble in this match, 2-0 behind.
$13.
Ali Carter looking at the table, deciding whether to come back.
On the frame.
And he's conceded, so Joe Perry in the first frame made 54.62. In the second frame, he's made 48, scoring well, and he leads by 2 frames to 0. And the reason I just mentioned the word scoring well there, John, that normally you're happy with a 40 above every frame, but it's okay getting them if you're playing good safety. But if you get 40 and miss, it can put you in trouble.
Well, yes, and particularly when you miss, when you're in amongst the balls, that can be costly. This was the first frame. He just needed that red. He was nicely on the blue, and one more red, that would have clinched it. And then the last frame, this red, easy pot, just as done run through for the black, missed that. The only thing that hasn't been done, he hasn't been punished.
But I think at the end of the day, you know, as I said to you, I had the pleasure, John, over the last 19 frames of the Maguire match. 6 frames Maguire won in a similar situation to that. Now, you can't keep getting away with it. So Joe's just got to, when it gets to the winning post, you just got to kind of be a little bit more free. It gets a little bit tense.
Yeah, possibly the reason. Yeah, as you say, it'll catch up with you eventually. Ali Carter hasn't really got in first. He's potted the first red on a couple of, particularly in the first frame, but the black just stayed out. So he needs a good visit, I feel, just to settle him down and get his nose in front early on in the frame.
Give frame 3, Joe Perry the break.
Joe has very quickly found the speed of the table, and this is why John mentioned at the opening frame how important it is to keep your opponent off the table. I mean, Ali Carter's only got 30 points so far. That's great. That's a good safety shot. Well, I say good safety shot. I didn't realise this red had come off the cushion. This is potable.
One.
Just pulled up enough. He has the angle on the brown to play for loose reds, and sometimes they play to go into the bunch below the pink, but I think where the balls are at the minute, there's no need. Pink and black in play.
Yeah, he could play to get in that circle there. That would give him a red that if he potted he could then... Oh, he's a bit low. He's a bit low for that red, and the pink is covering the intended red. He had quite a margin of error there.
Yeah, for somebody of Joe's... Sorry, John, I'm going to say, for somebody of Joe's class, they shouldn't be misjudging the shot by that far.
Yeah, you could say it was a good foot over to the right of the table, more to the middle. He'd have had a red to the left corner. Finished up with a
Joe Perry
a tough one. Just to show you what Hawkeye would have played, and this is what Joe Perry played, but he just didn't get through it. He got too much stun into it. He got a lot closer to the middle pocket. Hawkeye, that's what he played, and look at the angle it had, just to stun that red in and bring the black into play. That's what Joe Perry was hoping for. I hope Hawkeye never enters the World Snooker Championship, will he? They'll all be in trouble.
This is a tester when you're 2-0 behind. You never settle here at the Crucible till you get a frame on the board in a match. Is that a result? He's ended up with a great safety.
As you say, it was a pressure shot. It wouldn't have been if he'd have thought that was going to be the result, should he missed it. He had a result there, as you say. Hit the cue ball, full ball, knocked it tight on the baulk cushion. Lucky lad.
I think Ali was quite bemused for a while. He was so disappointed having missed the red, and then all of a sudden he didn't realise what the kiss had done until he played the shot, and then realised and almost had to apologise. Sorry, mate. Do you think he meant it?
Well, he played a very poor safety shot in the last frame, which eventually cost him. And that was nothing like the shot he played. He's hit this red so thin. He was trying to get on the left-hand side of the black, believe it or not. Shouldn't have been anywhere near the black. He's not settled yet.
One.
It appears to be taking the same pattern as the first session of the match today between Hendry and O'Sullivan. O'Sullivan favourite to win the match, was 3-0 behind. Ali Carter favourite to win the match, could be very shortly going 3-0 behind. At this moment in time, Ali Carter would already love to get out of this session 4-4.
6. Yeah, see that. 7.
Got to make a choice here. You could play round the back of the loose red and get onto the one that's to the left of the black spot, or you could just play and get onto, try and finish in the middle of the two reds, but I don't think you can get there because of the loose red. So play round the back of the loose red, but he's got to make sure the black, when it goes on its own spot, doesn't snooker him.
$14. 15.
Not the best angle. This is one of those where you don't mind screwing into them, because if it could come back on the two reds on the cushion. Hit them well.
22.
We always say on that shot, don't we, never screw into the pack, John, but where those two reds were on the back cushion, that was one time you didn't mind playing the screw into the pack.
Yeah, because coming back to the top cushion, it was a given opportunity, but I thought red to the left middle, but right corner. Oh, very confidently played. Never any doubt, never thought about anything else but that red, and couldn't have played it better.
Why does he look so good up to 50 and then all of a sudden goes through a little shaky bit and then
30.
Looks great again in the next 50?
Yeah, what you've been saying has happened the first two frames. Interesting to see what happens this, because this is an excellent opportunity. It really is. You couldn't wish for
31.
much better than this to get a frame winning contribution. He's already 40 points in the lead.
38.
I think he played for the red in the left middle, the one that's just below the paint, but he's not straight enough on it. And this is his second choice. But if he's got a nice angle, he can run through for the blue.
39.
Well, he didn't get a nice angle on the blue, but there's two reds either side of the pink in open play that he can play on, so he doesn't have to do much with the cue ball.
Yes, as John mentioned, not the best angle, so it's one of those you either run through 3 inches or screw back 3 inches, depending on what red you want to play for. With him being right-handed, he feels like he'd rather play the ball into the more open pocket of the two. He's perfect on this. He can run through plain ball on and off the cushion for the black. Now this is the point in frames
44.
where Joe Perry's just got to take his time now, and he should win the frame at this visit.
45.
Ali Carter's hardly had his hand on the table at all yet.
$52. $53.
62 in front, the black 69, one more red to secure a frame virtually at his first visit, or his first scoring visit, and that's what he's got to do to have a chance of winning the World Championship.
So there you see it, 69 ahead, 75 remaining. Pot the
60.
red goes 70 ahead with only 67 remaining. In goes the red. He's not good on the black, but the red was the important thing. Right in the heart of the pocket. That just means it's doubtful that Ali
68.
Carter will come back to the table. Played a very poor safety shot that left Joe Perry this chance. But fair play to Joe, he took the
Joe Perry.
advantage
68.
of it. And Ali puts his hand up, concedes. Joe Perry, certainly the quicker out of the blocks. They've had 3 frames, he's won them all.
Early days, Dennis, but surely a level of concern for Ali, because he won't be settled at all till he gets a frame on the board.
I think that's why Ali's just gone out of the arena there, just to try and compose himself. But Joe Perry's doing exactly what he did against Stephen Maguire in the last round. He won the first 4 frames against Stephen, and once again he's got off to a great start. And you'd think he's been at this stage in the World Championships, you know, numerous times, the way he's relaxed out there.
What are your observations, John?
Yeah, at the moment it's all Joe Perry. I mean, he's doing what he did in that Maguire match. Funny enough, he's making, in the first couple of games, he had a 40-odd and a 50-odd. He must have made more than anybody 40s and 50s in this tournament, and he was missing against Maguire, and Maguire was coming in and nicking games off him by clearing up. Hasn't happened so far because Ali's not settled down really, but that's, the last frame was more like it from Joe. 1 visit, heavy score. You know, it's easier to win matches like that.
It's a very thin line, isn't it, that decides how you perform in a World Championship.
Well, just to get to the stage you're getting at, I mean, you look at Ali Carter, first round match, Barry Hawkins has come back, they've got taken off the table at 9 frames all. It was definitely to Ali's advantage to be taken off then, because he didn't look like he was going to win a frame at that point. Comes back, manages to get over the line, and dare I mention it, but Joe Perry was 8-4 down to me qualifying, didn't look like he was going to get through, played fantastic near the end to knock me out, and here he is in the semi-final. So it's amazing what can turn round in a snooker season.
It can dramatically change round, can't it, Dennis?
Well, yeah, and the mid-session interval always seems to change a match. So, but Ali would like to get off the mark, and he'd like to get this one before the mid-session interval.
Well, let's see if he can do that. Frame 4 underway.
Yes, you wouldn't say it was a must, would you, in a match to when you're playing over 33 frames, but as Dennis has just mentioned, he needs to get off the mark quite quickly, because If you keep building your opponent's confidence by missing balls, playing poor safety, it all of a sudden becomes almost a little mountain to climb to get a frame on the board. We've all been there when the opponent's knocking everything in. He's just got to stop the rot somehow. Ali Carter, as yet, has not really had his hand on the table. His highest break is only 23, but he's not really had a chance. Joe Perry's already made 54, 62, 48, 68. Dominated play.
Don't necessarily agree with that shot. Okay, he's thinking, I'll flip the red away and bring the black into play. But what has he done? He's put no pressure on his opponent, Joe Perry. He's got an easy flick off the reds, back up the table. I know Ali's thinking, you know, if I've got the black available in both corners, if I get a chance. But he's not done anything to put his opponent under pressure here.
Yeah, it's a great point, isn't it? Because you get chances normally by playing great safety. Joe Perry has now played the first safety shot. Ali Carter's going to have to reply. And if he doesn't, he's freed the black.
Oh, absolutely. I think he's not panicking, but he just wants things to happen, and sometimes you just got to be a bit more patient.
Depends on what angle he has on this red, to whether he'd like to be able to run through for the black, but it's obviously not got that angle, so as you can see there, he's queuing low on it, playing for blue or bought colour. Oh dear. That's all you need when you're 3-0 behind.
Yes. Ali didn't play the best of safety shots once again, left the cue ball near the bought line, but this is cruel. It's cruel. We've seen it happen so many times. And the black is available into both corner pockets, thanks to Mr. Carter.
Virtually 25 years ago, Thorburn did exactly that and made 147, didn't he? Obviously, no chance of that here, but it could be a frame-winning fluke. And they hurt just as much as 147s if you lose the frame from them.
Well, that's a poor shot. And the reason it's a poor shot, he had no need to play the cannon. He could have held the cue ball. Little stun run through. Unless you could guarantee making full ball contact with the second red, you don't play the cannon.
Green ball.
Missed a chance there.
Joe Perry 6.
Well, dear me, what's the old saying? It never rains, but it pours.
Ali Carter's having a little... He's a lovely guy, Ali, he really is, but, you know, in some ways, sometimes you can bring it on yourself, really, because he's just not played good safety, but this, once again, was a great bit of fortune. He'd have probably been playing a similar shot though, if the white's tight on the cushion. He may have still had to play on and off the cushion, but he wants to rest into these touching ball unless he's playing a thin clip back into baulk. This could go wrong. He needs to rest into them tight. There's a couple of reds that are potable, and that's one that I think in the middle is left.
Well, there's one. I don't think you can get to it in the middle. I assume there's nothing goes to the right corner, but the red on the extreme left will certainly go to the left corner pocket. It may go to the left middle. Looks like left middle.
very first frame, when he was 54 points in front, missed virtually the same red to the top jaw, so he's just not... Sometimes you have shots, John, don't you, till you settle down. You could hit them thick on one side and thin on the other. Sometimes your eyes kind of play tricks on you for a little while, so he's just not sussed the left-hand side of the table yet. He's hitting everything thick down that side. Ali Carter may try and force the issue here. The fact that the green's off its spots means he can get down there behind the green. It's the worst venue in the world until you settle in any match.
Well, any venue is bad when you haven't got a frame on the board. Just having a good look at the pack here. I don't know if there is a plant. Can't see one. Can't see anything that would tempt me.
Yes, it's a good safety, this. Joe's definitely got the better weight of cue ball at the moment. And we keep going back to saying about table time, even though it looks like it's virtually 50-50 on table time. Every time Ali comes to the table, he seems to be having to dig himself out of situations. There's another example. When things are not going right, those baulk colours seem to be twice as big as your opponent's when he's playing them when things are going well. Yeah, it's amazing how hard it is to get by those baulk colours sometimes. Of course, when you hit them, it makes the safety a lot easier.
Well, this is the shot he played before, and as I say, you don't play the cannon if you don't think... And he just play a little stun, a little drag shot, and he could have held the cue ball and not gone anywhere near that red. It was a mistake, and well, he went for that red. I assume he thought the only red he could leave was the one he played, but when you miss it by that distance, you think you're going to leave it, but can't see anything easy to get Ali started here. Possibly the red just below the pink, but that's a dangerous shot to take on.
I don't think there's an easy safety shot on John, is there, here, unless he can cut this one in and with a bit of check side.
Well, using the rest, you wouldn't fancy this, would you? Well, that's a marvellous shot. Using the rest and playing with that much right-hand side.
One.
Top draw.
Yellow and green available. Seems to have more angle on the yellow. I think we mentioned that the red just below the pink would pot. That's the one he'd love to get on with this shot. And that's not the best white he's ever played. Not settled at all yet. There may still be one on, but from there it's going to be tough. That was a very good pot, and unluckily I don't think is on black or pink. He's shaking his head because he feels that, you know, he played the pot and he must have thought he was bound to be on pink or black.
Thank you. Yellow ball.
Yes, I don't blame him. Trying to get this cue ball tight against the baulk cushion. Might try and put it behind the green.
Ali Carter 4.
The only thing that always used to put you off playing that shot, Willie, wasn't it? That you know you're knocking the yellow safe, and if you get a good safety, you want all the colours on the spot so you can capitalise on any error from your opponent. But he's not found the baulk cushion, and so far this evening, Joe Perry's safety has been of the highest order, and that's another pretty good one.
I was just about to say that's a little better, but he's left a shot on. I don't think there's enough room to get in between the black and reds if he plays the pot. That's why he's looking at a different shot. The last time he played a long pot in this pocket, he missed it by quite some way, so I think he'll be looking for a safety. Not guaranteed to hit it thin enough and get around the back of those 4 reds. That's why I played the other way around, but the red, that's the first poor safety. I say poor safety, not left an easy starter. That's all you need in that situation when your opponent plays a bad save. You just need an easy starter to get you going.
Yeah, and he had 2 balls to avoid in the middle of the table, coming around off the 2 cushions, the pink and the blue. It was a big ask to do that, but Ali just can't get comfortable here. This is a big shot, and it's a terrific shot. He won't mind. Well, he wouldn't like the red to go in, but it doesn't matter. It's just 2. If it had stayed over the pocket, that red could have given him another red and a black. Well, what an excellent shot, and played the cannon superbly. Now this is as good a chance as he's had this evening.
9. 10.
Just overrun again on the position. And this is the problem with it, isn't it? When you've not had the table time, you know, you've got to find it almost immediately when you get these opportunities, because you can't keep running out of position. Makes the next shot more difficult.
I think he can play this slow with drag, but those 3 reds on the left, he doesn't want the cue ball to finish near those to leave himself hampered queuing. So here's white running loose, so he wants to be on the 2 reds. You see, that's the reds I was always worried about. Well, he's handy there because he's gone just pushed by them. He could have left himself in all sorts of trouble there if he'd have rested on those 3 reds.
Oh, if he'd have nestled on one, he'd have been hampered. He wouldn't have had this one to the left middle, but he has, and he should be able to get good position on the blue this time. Didn't have anything to do with the cue
16.
ball. So you just need close control. The better position you've got on the ball, the easier it is to get on the next one. Used to say with the great breaks, you know, oh, I could have potted that, but it's the cue ball control which is so important.
21.
Make every shot so anyone thinks he could pot it.
22.
He's blessed with a beautiful cue action, Ali Carter, and gets through the ball extremely well. He's one of those players that generates plenty of spin when needed. You'd have to say he's a more powerful cueist than Joe Perry, and he has to play the power shots. You'd fancy of the 2 players, Ali to play them slightly better. In the safety department, you'd fancy Joe Perry. So these are 2 slightly different match
30.
players. I think all those 3 reds will pot into the opposite pocket to the one he's playing the black, so sometime he can drop behind those if he wants to. I don't know whether he's going to play it now. There's probably a bit of value in playing it now, to be honest. Decided to play for the loose one though, and the only reason I said his value because he had a perfect angle to play it there. He may not get that angle again.
37. 38.
Probably the key shot to the frame now. Roll this red into the
43.
middle, and if he gets the perfect angle on the blue, he can drop to the side cushion that you were inferring before. If you can't just drop behind these reds, give yourself an angle on the blue, so at least you can play the cannon and bring them into play. It all depends on what angle he leaves off this red on the blue.
44.
This is so similar to the match this afternoon. O'Sullivan hardly potted a ball in the first 3 frames, did he? Won the 4th frame, and Carter's doing exactly the same thing. There you see how, going back to the black 3 or 4 shots ago when he had the absolute perfect angle to float it and drop on all 3 and guarantee to get on 1, he had to play the blue at pace, and that's why he lost position.
Yeah, what makes this a little bit easier though, he's 47 points in front. He only needs the red. The red obviously goes to the right corner. It's the decision. Do you play safe? And he is doing. He's going to try and protect that lead. Didn't think it was worth
Ali Carter 49.
taking the risky frame ball red. It's his decision.
It was always a big ball, the yellow. He'd have preferred it if he was going to kiss it, to knock it right over the hole, but Ali Carter only needs 1 ball, so he won't be playing position on the colour here, he'll just be playing it as a shot to nothing. What he wouldn't give for a frame on the board now. It's never easy. Excellent. And does he have the angle to kiss the 2 reds out? That was a great pot. No, it's not a natural, so you can see him there getting down and wanting to cue down on it a little bit. This is the angle he's got. From that angle, you'd think he'd get very close to the kiss. Maybe he just needs to widen it a little bit.
Yeah, well, that's what you're saying, isn't it? Well, he's not striking down. If he had his hand on the table, it wouldn't be a problem. Didn't feel as though he could get the cannon, but maybe he feels he can see enough of the left hand of the 2 reds to play it in his left corner.
6.
Like you, Willie, I never thought about this as an option. No. He hit it too thick, so he could see plenty of it. Hung his head. I said too thick, I meant too thin, but the point was he could hit enough of the red to pot it, and now just this red required. Well, Ali, that red for his first frame of the match. Another chance gone.
.41 points in it with the pink out of play. He doesn't really want to pot the blue, so he could have afforded one pink, so he really needs two blacks from this situation. I think he got a kick there. I think he got a kick there, to be honest. Let's have a little look at this again and see if we can detect a kick. It certainly seemed to me to push to the jaw. It's one of those, it wasn't a bouncing kick, I think it was just one of those that pushed to the jaw straight the way Joe's cue came out, and as if he'd got a bad contact.
Yeah, I think you could see from Joe's reaction that the red seemed to go straight on. Still can't get that red. And the longer it takes, the more anxious he'll become.
Yes, Joe looking at the scoreboard now, and as I said earlier, the blue he can only tie. Blue, black and all the colours to tie, so don't be surprised if he doesn't play the pot. Decided to go for the tie now.
1.
Can he hit this thick enough to hold the cue ball? I'm not sure he can. Well, Joe Perry, having missed 2 or 3 shots, is virtually assured Ali Carter of the first frame. He's conceded at the table. Ali Carter will be delighted with that. Without playing at all well, Ali Carter's got a frame on the board, but he still trails 3 frames to 1.